Hi everyone, and welcome to our podcast Hearts Before Minds. I'm Vivian now, and joining me today are my wonderful teammates Anastasia Joseph and Vera FRERIANA FRIDI.
Hi everyone, it's great to be here.
Hello listeners, we are so excited to share today's topic with you. That is the importance of socio-emotional learning in early childhood education, or SL for short.
That's right. Today we'll talk about what SEL really means, why it's so important for young children, and how it's changed the way we see teaching and learning. But before we begin, let's take a moment to think. When was the last time someone asked you, how are you feeling today? Not just a casual question, but one where the person truly listened.
That's such a good question, Vivian. Many times we focus so much on academic learning, which is ABCs, numbers, and writing, that we forget to pause and check in with our emotions.
Exactly. And in early childhood education, emotion plays a big role in how children can learn, interact, and grow. So, in this podcast, we are going to explore how nurturing the heart actually supports the mind.
Beautifully said. So, let's dive into our first segment, Understanding Socio-Emotionally Learning. So, to start off, Anas, could you explain briefly about what socio-emotional learning is?
Yes, sure, Vivian. So, SEL is the process of developing emotional intelligence, which is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage our own emotions, and also to understand others' feeling. So, for children, it's about learning empathy, cooperation, and self-control.
Exactly. SEL helps children build positive relationships, make responsible decisions, and handle challenges calmly. In early childhood education, this is so essential because young children are still learning and want to identify and express their feelings.
Yes, and what I find interesting is that SEL doesn't just happen by itself. Teachers and parents have to intentionally guide children. Through activities like storytelling, play, and daily conversation, kids can learn how to handle their emotion in healthy ways.
That's right. I remember one reading from our course that said children learn best when they feel safe, loved, and understood. It made me realize that emotional safety is just as important as academic learning.
I completely agree. Think about it. If a child is scared or anxious, their mind is in survival mode. They can focus on learning letters or numbers until they feel calm and supported.
Exactly. I once observed a preschool class where the teacher started every morning with a feeling check. Each child got to share how they were feeling using a chart with emojis. It only took 5 minutes, but it made such a difference because the children felt heard and the teacher could adjust her approach depending on their emotional states.
That's such a great example, Vera, and research supports that too, where studies show that when children's emotions are acknowledged, their learning engagement increase. SEL builds the foundation for emotional security and cognitive growth.
Yes, it's like a roof of a tree. Emotions are invisible, but they support everything that grows above.
I love the metaphor. So, in short, SEL helps children recognize emotions, manage feelings, and build empathy. It is essential skills for life.
Yes.
Now, let's talk about why socio-emotional learning is so important. Vera, do you want to start first?
Sure, when children develop socio-emotional skills early, they become more confident and cooperative. For example, a child who can express their frustration with words instead of tantrums is learning emotional control. This is a skill that will help them throughout life.
Exactly. And it also improves classroom behavior. When children can manage their emotions, they can focus better, listen to instructions, and get along with others. It reduces conflict and creates a positive classroom atmosphere.
I totally agree with both of you. I also learned that SEL has long-term benefits. Children who are emotionally intelligent tend to perform better academically, and they grow into adults with better relationships and mental health.
Yes, and something that really inspired me is how SEL helps prevent bullying. When children learn empathy, they are more likely to be kind, understanding, and inclusive to others.
That's a really good point, Vera. I used to think that emotional learning was secondary, but now I see it's the foundation of everything else. Without emotional regulation, even the smartest child can struggle too.
That is so true. SEL doesn't just help children but also help teachers build meaningful relationships with them. When we show empathy and passion, we are modeling the exact behavior we want them to learn.
Exactly. That's what makes SEL so powerful. Not only about teaching feelings, but also living them in our daily experience.
Can I add something? I'd like to add something, which is SEL also helps children deal with failure. When a child learns, it's okay to make mistakes. They can build resilience. Instead of crying or giving up, they learn to try again.
That's such an important point, Anas. I remember reading a study by the Collaborative for Academic, Social and Emotional Learning, which is CASEL, which found that SEL programs improve student academic performance by 11%.
Wow, that's significant. It really shows that when emotions are managed well, the brain can focus on learning.
Exactly, Vera. A calm mind is a learning mind. When I first took this course, which is PIKK 3412, I didn't expect it to impact me personally. But I realized I also need to improve my own emotional awareness. Before, I used to get frustrated easily, especially when children doesn't listen to me.
Same here. I used to think being a good teacher meant keep perfect control all the time. But through this course, I learned that showing emotions, like saying, I'm feeling a little upset, but I will calm down, actually teaches the children emotional honesty.
I completely relate. This course helped me reflect on my own childhood too. I noticed that the teachers who made me feel safe emotionally were the ones I remember the most. That inspired me to become that kind of teacher, the one who connects with their heart and not just their mind.
Yes, it also changed the way I see children's behavior too. Instead of labeling them as naughty or disobedient, I now try to look at what emotion is behind that behavior. Sometimes they just need an attention or reassurance.
Exactly. I think we have all grown empathic through this course. It is not just academic knowledge, it is real emotional growth for us as future educators.
And that's the beautiful part of this course. It doesn't only train us to teach children better, but it teaches us to be more understanding, patient, and self aware.
You know, it reminds me of one quote, which is, "We teach who we are." That means the emotional state of the teacher directly affects the classroom climate.
That's powerful, so true. When we enter the classroom with calm and kindness, it spreads to the children.
Yes, and vice versa. If we are stressed, children can feel it. That's why self regulation as educators is just as important as teaching children to regulate theirs.
Now, let's talk about practical ways teachers can apply SEL in early childhood classrooms.
Okay, so one simple way that we can do is through emotion recognition activities, which, for example, we can use flashcards where children choose one card to showing how they feel each morning or before the class start, and it can encourage them to express emotions safely. Like the other day, when we went to ceremony preschool, we do that activities, which is we gave them the flashcard and they know every emotion that we show, and they also tell us stories about their feelings too.
That's a great idea, Anas. Another method is through storytelling. Teachers can read stories that highlight emotions like kindness, jealousy, or sadness. Then, teachers can discuss with them the characters feel and respond.
Yes, and teachers can also use circle time to build emotional connections. When children share what makes them happy or sad, they learn empathy by listening to others.
Yes, I also think modeling is crucial. If we stay calm during stressful moments, then children learn to do the same. We can teach emotional control if we don't practice it ourselves.
Yes, I totally agree with you, Anas. Teachers is a big role for children, like what the theory of Bandura say. So, other than that, teachers also can collaborate with parents too. When both sides reinforce emotional learning, children feel more secure and supported.
That is so true, and teachers can integrate SEL into all activities like art, music, or playtime. For instance, during painting time, children can express emotions through colors.
Oh yes, even during other play too, we can teach teamwork and problem solving when children share toys or take turns on the slide.
Yes.
Now, let's share one way this course has helped us develop personally. I'll start first. For me, it made me realize that teaching is not just about lesson plans, it's about relationships. I've learned to slow down, listen more, and connect deeper with others.
That's beautiful, Vivien. For me, the biggest change is learning patience. I have become more aware of my own emotions and how they affect the children I interact with. I have learned that being calm is part of being an effective educator.
Yeah, for me, I've become more empathetic, not just in teaching, but in daily life. I have learned that everyone, even adults, needs understanding. This course made me realize that emotional support can truly change lives.
That's so inspiring. And I think what makes SEL powerful is that it keeps growing with us. As teachers, learners, and as humans. Now, before we wrap up, let's each one of us share one message to inspire future educators who are listening. Anas, you can go first.
Thank you, Vivien. So, my message to the future educators is teach with your heart. Children may forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel.
That's so true. My message is every emotion matters. When children learn to express their feelings, they learn to understand others too. That is the foundation of kindness and cooperation.
And lastly, my message is emotional learning is lifelong. When we nurture children's hearts today, we are shaping compassionate and resilient adults for the future.
And that brings us to the end of today's podcast, which is Hearts Before Minds.
We hope our discussion gave you a deeper appreciation of how socio-emotional learning shapes children and us in meaningful ways.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. Remember, when we teach with empathy, we don't just build smarter children, but we also build kinder ones.
Bye everyone!